1843, New Orleans. A free black man just invented technology that will generate billions of dollars for the global sugar industry. His name was Norbert Rillieux. Today, you cannot find his name in a single textbook. Why? Because every time you eat white sugar, you are using the invention of a black genius. Every time you pour sugar in your coffee, you are benefiting from technology they stole from us. Every single time. And they erased his name. They took the billions. They left him with nothing. Let me tell you something that will change how you see everything. The median white household in America has wealth of $188,000. The median black household has $24,000. They tell you this gap exists because black people don't work hard enough. They tell you we don't innovate. They tell you we don't create wealth. All lies. Norbert Rillieux created technology worth trillions in today's money. Lewis Latimer made the light bulb actually work. Garrett Morgan invented the traffic light and gas mask that saved thousands of lives. Granville Woods revolutionized railroad safety. Jan Matzeliger transformed the entire shoe industry. Every single one of them died broke while white men became billionaires from their inventions. This is not ancient history. This is systematic theft that created the wealth gap you see today. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how Norbert Rillieux's invention revolutionized the global sugar industry. You will see proof of how white plantation owners stole his patents and profits. You will understand the system designed to erase black inventors from history. You will learn why this theft affects your wealth today, right now, in 2026. And you will never see the wealth gap, the innovation gap, the why don't black people just invent things rhetoric the same way again. After this video, you will understand why black inventors today still struggle to get patents funding recognition. You will see the 180-year pattern of intellectual property theft. This is not about some old inventor story. This is about systematic theft of black intellectual property. This is about billions stolen from black communities. This is your ancestors' genius robbed, and the robbery continues today. March 17, 1806. A child was born in New Orleans who would change the world. His name was Norbert Rillieux. His father was Vincent Rillieux, a wealthy white engineer and plantation owner. His mother was Constance Vivant, a free black woman, a Creole. This placed young Norbert in a strange and dangerous position. He was legally free, not enslaved. But he was still black in America, and in 1806, New Orleans, that meant living under a system designed to crush you, no matter how brilliant you were. New Orleans at this time was the sugar capital of America. Massive plantations surrounded the city. The entire economy ran on one thing, sugarcane. And sugarcane production ran on one thing, black bodies. Enslaved people working themselves to death in fields and factories. The system was brutal beyond imagination, but New Orleans had something unusual. A community of free people of color Creoles who had managed to carve out small spaces of freedom within the nightmare. They could own property. They could get education. They could learn trades, but they could never vote. They could never hold certain jobs. They could never escape the constant reminder that white supremacy ruled everything. Vincent Rillieux was wealthy, and he did something that almost never happened for black children in America. He recognized his son's genius. From the time Norbert was a small boy, he showed extraordinary talent in mathematics and mechanics. While other children played, young Norbert took apart machines to understand how they worked. He solved complex math problems in his head. He asked questions that engineers twice his age could not answer. His father saw this brilliance and made a decision that would change everything. He sent Norbert to France, to Paris, to study at the École Centrale, one of the finest engineering schools in all of Europe. Think about what this means. A black child from Louisiana in the 1820s studying advanced engineering in Paris, while enslaved black people in America were forbidden from even learning to read. Norbert Rillieux was mastering thermodynamics and mechanical engineering at the highest level. By age 24, he was a professor, teaching applied mechanics at École Centrale, the youngest instructor in the school's history. A black man from Louisiana teaching white European students how machines and physics worked. Let that sink in. Pause and think. A black man in 1830 lecturing white engineering students in Europe. His mind was centuries ahead of his time. But America did not want black genius. America wanted black labor. Rillieux specialized in thermodynamics, the science of heat and energy. He understood steam power better than almost anyone alive. He understood how to make systems more efficient, how to capture wasted energy and reuse it. He was a master of mechanical design and chemistry. For 10 years, he lived in Paris, respected as the brilliant engineer he was. But in 1830, something pulled him back. He returned to New Orleans, and what he saw there would change the course of his life and the entire sugar industry forever. Picture the scene. New Orleans summer of 1830. Norbert Rillieux walks through a sugar refinery for the first time in a decade. The heat is unbearable, over 100 degrees inside the factory. Enslaved black men and women stand next to massive copper kettles filled with boiling sugarcane juice. The temperature of that liquid is over 200 degrees Fahrenheit. They stir these kettles with long paddles for hours. The heat radiating from the kettles burns their skin. The steam scalds their faces. Every day, people pass out from heat exhaustion. Every week, someone gets burned so badly, they die. Every month, a kettle explodes, killing everyone nearby. This was called the Jamaica train method. 5 or 6 enormous copper kettles in a row, each one heated directly by fire underneath. Workers ladled boiling juice from one kettle to the next, trying to evaporate water and concentrate the sugar. It was primitive. It was dangerous. It was murderous. The sugar quality was poor because the direct heat burned some of the sugar. The process wasted enormous amounts of fuel, and it required constant human labor in conditions that killed people regularly. Enslaved people died to make white men rich. Rillieux stood there watching this scene. He understood immediately that this was not just a technical problem. This was a moral crisis. His people, black people, were dying every single day so that plantation owners could sell sugar. And the worst part, the system was terribly inefficient. All that death and suffering was not even producing good results. The sugar was low quality. The fuel costs were enormous. The whole process was wasteful. But plantation owners did not care. Enslaved labor was cheap to them. If someone died, they just bought another enslaved person. There was no incentive to improve anything. But Norbert Rillieux cared. He looked at those kettles and saw both a humanitarian disaster and an engineering problem he could solve. He knew he could redesign the entire system. He could make it safer, more efficient, and produce better sugar while using less fuel. But there was one massive problem. He was a black man, and white plantation owners would never listen to a black man telling them how to run their business. He knew that if he succeeded, they would steal his invention. If he failed, they would mock him. But he also knew something else. His people deserved better. The enslaved workers dying in those factories deserved better. And he had the knowledge to save them. So he made a decision. He would invent a completely new system for refining sugar. Not just an improvement, a revolution. He spent the next few years researching, calculating, designing. He drew detailed blueprints. He worked out every measurement, every angle, every connection. And by 1834, he had it. The multiple effect evaporator, a system that would change industrial chemistry forever. Here is how it worked. Instead of heating sugar juice directly with fire in open kettles, Rillieux designed a closed system with multiple chambers stacked on top of each other. The first chamber would be heated by steam. As the sugar juice boiled in that chamber, it would create steam. That steam would not be wasted. Instead, it would be captured and used to heat the second chamber. The steam from the second chamber would heat the third, and so on. 3 or 4 chambers all connected, each one using the waste heat from the one before it. This meant the system only needed one heat source instead of 5 or 6. Fuel costs dropped by 50%. Efficiency increased by 200%. And here is the crucial part. The entire system was enclosed. No more workers standing next to open kettles of boiling liquid. No more burns. No more heat exhaustion deaths. No more exploding kettles. The sugar was also higher quality because it was never exposed to direct flame that could burn it. The sugar came out whiter, purer, more valuable. This was revolutionary. This was not just an improvement on existing technology. This was a complete reimagining of industrial evaporation. And the principles Rillieux invented would eventually be used not just for sugar, but for dairy chemicals, paper manufacturing, even modern desalination plants that turn ocean water into drinking water. This one invention by a black man would generate trillions of dollars of value over the next 180 years. But first, he had to convince white plantation owners to try it. Spring of 1843. Norbert Rillieux stands before a room of skeptical white men. Wealthy plantation owners who have been refining sugar the same way for generations. In his hands, he holds blueprints that will change the world. On their faces, doubt, dismissal, disgust. How dare a black man, even a free one, even an educated one, tell them how to run their business? How dare he claim he can do better than methods their fathers and grandfathers used? Some of them refuse to even look at his designs. Some laugh openly. Some get angry at the presumption of this Negro thinking he knows more than they do. But one man listens. Theodore Packwood, owner of Myrtle Grove Plantation. He looks at the blueprints. He listens to the explanation. And he understands something the others are too racist to see. This will make him rich. If this system works even half as well as Rillieux claims, Packwood will produce more sugar at lower cost than any competitor. So he agrees to install the first multiple effect evaporator at his plantation. 1843. The test begins, and the results are beyond anyone's wildest expectations. Sugar production triples. Quality improves dramatically. Fuel costs drop by 75%. Workers are no longer dying from burns and heat exhaustion. The system works perfectly. Word spreads like wildfire through the Louisiana sugar industry. Within 2 years, every major plantation wants this technology. Rillieux files for a patent. 1843, U.S. Patent Number 3237. The patent is approved. This should be his moment of triumph. A black man officially recognized as the inventor of revolutionary technology. But this is also the moment when the theft begins. Because white manufacturers look at that patent and they see billions of dollars. And they decide they are not going to pay a black man for it. They start copying the design without permission. They make small changes and claim it is their own invention. They build Rillieux's system in their factories and refuse to pay licensing fees. When Rillieux tries to sue them, he faces all white juries, all white judges. A black man's word against a white man's word. You already know who wins that fight. The courts side with white plantation owners every single time. Oh, occasionally Rillieux wins a case. But the legal fees cost more than the settlement he receives. And for every one manufacturer he successfully sues, 10 more are stealing his design with impunity. By 1850, there are 13 sugar factories in Louisiana using the Rillieux system. Rillieux receives licensing fees from maybe 2 or 3 of them. The rest, they stole it outright. Let me give you some numbers to show you the scale of this theft. Conservative estimates suggest those 13 plantations using his system generated an extra $50 to $100 million in profits between 1843 and 1860. That is in 1860 dollars. In today's money, that would be well over $1 billion. Rillieux received maybe $10,000 total. They made millions. He got crumbs, and it gets worse. The newspapers covering the boom in Louisiana sugar production. They never mention Rillieux's name. The credit goes to anonymous engineers or to the white plantation managers who installed the systems. Scientific journals refuse to publish Rillieux's papers because he is black. The American engineering community will not allow a black man to join their professional societies. They take his invention. They profit from his genius, and they erase his name from the story. But the theft of profit is not even the worst part. The worst part is watching other black people continue to suffer because white racism is more important than human life. Let me tell you about 1854. New Orleans is facing a catastrophic public health crisis. The city's sewage system is completely inadequate. Waste is overflowing into the streets. Cholera and yellow fever are spreading. Thousands of people are getting sick. Hundreds are dying. The city government is desperate for a solution. Norbert Rillieux designs a revolutionary sewage and drainage system. His engineering expertise in fluid dynamics makes him uniquely qualified for this exact problem. He presents his plans to the city council. They are brilliant. They would work. They would save thousands of lives. The city council publicly rejects his proposal, not because the engineering is flawed, not because the cost is too high. They reject it explicitly because he is black. One council member says out loud in the public meeting, "We will not take engineering advice from a Negro." Instead, they hire a white engineer. They pay him $100,000. His system is poorly designed, it fails completely. And over the next 2 years, thousands of people die in cholera and yellow fever outbreaks that Rillieux's system would have prevented. They chose white pride over black genius, and people died. Thousands of people died because racism was more important than human life. Norbert Rillieux had had enough. In June 1854, he made a decision that broke his heart but saved his sanity. He left America, he returned to Paris. He left the country he tried to improve. He left the industry he revolutionized, because America did not deserve him. America rejected his brilliance because of his skin color. So he went to a place where his mind was valued more than his melanin. In France, Rillieux was treated with the respect he deserved. He continued his research. He worked on Egyptology and hieroglyphics. He published papers. He married a French woman named Emily Cocow. He lived peacefully honored as a distinguished engineer and scholar. He lived the life that should have been possible in America, but never was. For 40 years, he stayed in Paris. He never returned to the United States. He died there on October 8, 1894, at the age of 88. He never saw his invention properly credited to him in his homeland. He never received the billions his genius created. But his legacy lived on, even though they tried to erase it. After Rillieux died, the theft of credit became complete. For the next 100 years, from 1894 to the 1990s, his name appeared in exactly 0 American history textbooks, 0 science textbooks, 0 engineering textbooks. Students learning about industrial chemistry and the sugar industry were taught that the multiple effect evaporator was developed by anonymous innovators or by the sugar industry collectively. White inventors who made minor improvements to Rillieux's design got credit, but Rillieux himself erased. The sugar industry boomed into a global, multi-billion-dollar business. His technology became the standard worldwide, and generation after generation of Americans, including Black Americans, grew up never knowing that a Black genius invented it. Think about what his invention went on to do. The multiple effect evaporator did not stay in sugar refineries. The principle of using waste steam from one process to power the next process became fundamental to modern industrial chemistry. Today it is used in dairy production to make condensed milk and powdered milk. It is used in paper manufacturing. It is used in chemical plants. It is used in desalination facilities that turn ocean water into drinking water for millions of people. Pharmaceutical companies use it. Food processing plants use it. The global economic value created by Rillieux's invention over the past 180 years is estimated in the trillions of dollars, multiple trillions. And his descendants received nothing. 0. Not 1 penny in royalties, not $1 in recognition. Nothing. It was not until 1934 that Louisiana finally acknowledged Rillieux's contribution. That is, 40 years after he died. In 1983, almost 90 years after his death, he was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. In 2002, the U.S. Postal Service issued a stamp honoring him. They honored him after he was safely dead, and they could no longer profit from erasing him. They honored him after his descendants could no longer claim what was owed. They honored him when it cost them nothing and benefited their image. That is how America works. Steal from Black genius while they are alive. Honor them when they are safely dead and cannot demand what they are owed. Norbert Rillieux died in Paris in 1894. He was 88 years old. He never returned to America. He never saw his invention credited to him in the land of his birth. He never received even a fraction of the wealth his brilliance created. But every single time you touch sugar, every single time you use a product made in a modern factory, every single time you drink desalinated water, you are using technology that came from the mind of a Black genius they tried to erase. His legacy lives on in every spoonful of sugar, in every industrial process, in every chemistry textbook, whether his name is in it or not. They could not erase what he created. They only erased his name. And now you know the truth. But here is what you need to understand. You think Rillieux is the only case. Think again. The theft of Black genius was not an accident. It was not one isolated incident. It was systematic. It was policy. It was how America operated for over 200 years. Let me show you the pattern. Let me show you how they did this to dozens to hundreds of Black inventors. And once you see the pattern, you will never unsee it. Granville T. Woods, 1856 to 1910. Born in Columbus, Ohio, they called him the Black Edison. But here's the truth. He was better than Edison. He had over 60 patents related to electrical systems and railroads. His most famous invention came in 1887, a telegraph system that allowed moving trains to communicate with each other and with stations. Before Woods invented this, trains crashed into each other regularly. There was no way for a moving train to send or receive messages. If a train ahead broke down, the train behind had no way to know until it was too late. Hundreds of people died every year in train collisions. Woods solved this. He invented a system that used telegraph technology combined with electrical induction. Trains could send messages while moving at full speed. They could warn each other about obstacles, breakdowns, track problems. His invention saved thousands of lives. It made railroads safer and more efficient. Every modern train signal system descends from Woods' original patents. This was genius-level innovation that transformed an entire industry. And Thomas Edison tried to steal it. Twice. Edison filed lawsuits claiming he invented the railway telegraph first. He claimed Woods stole the idea from him. The first lawsuit went to court. Woods won. He proved with documentation and prototypes that the invention was his. Edison sued again with a slightly different claim. Woods won again. The courts confirmed twice that Granville Woods was the true inventor. But here's what happened next. History books gave Edison the credit anyway. Students learned about Edison, the great inventor. Meanwhile, Woods, despite winning in court, despite having the patents in his name, was erased from the story. And because Woods was black, he could not get the investment capital to fully exploit his patents. White investors would not back a black inventor. Banks would not loan to him. So he was forced to sell many of his patents to white-owned companies for a fraction of their value. He needed money to survive to fund his next inventions. The companies knew this. They lowballed him, and he had no choice but to accept. General Electric bought several of his patents. Westinghouse bought others. American Bell Telephone Company bought his telephone patents. These companies made millions, then billions from his work. Woods died in poverty in 1910. He was living in a boarding house in New York City. He died nearly broke. Meanwhile, the companies that bought his patents for pennies on the dollar became some of the wealthiest corporations in America. Same pattern. Black genius invents. White corporations steal. Black inventor dies poor. White executives become rich. And history erases the black name while celebrating white success. Now let me tell you about Lewis Howard Latimer, 1848 to 1928. His parents were runaway slaves who escaped to Massachusetts. Lewis grew up free but poor. He taught himself mechanical drawing and engineering. He was so talented that Alexander Graham Bell hired him to draft the patent drawings for the telephone. Yes, that telephone. Bell could not have gotten the patent without Latimer's precise technical drawings. But Latimer's greatest invention came later. Thomas Edison invented an early light bulb. But Edison's bulb had a major problem. The filament burned out after just a few hours. His bulbs were impractical, too expensive to keep replacing. The world needed a light bulb that lasted longer, much longer. Lewis Latimer solved it. In 1881, he invented the carbon filament. This filament could last for months instead of hours. This is what made electric lighting practical and affordable. Without Latimer's carbon filament, Edison's light bulb would have remained a novelty, a laboratory curiosity. Latimer made it into the technology that lit up the world. He also wrote the first instruction manual for installing and maintaining electric lighting systems. He literally wrote the book on how to wire buildings for electricity. But who gets the credit? Edison is called the inventor of the light bulb. He is on the history books, the documentaries, the stamps. Latimer is mentioned, if at all, as Edison's assistant or draftsman. The reality, Edison invented a prototype that did not work well. Latimer invented the component that made it actually function. Without Latimer, there is no practical light bulb. There is no electric lighting revolution. But Latimer was black, so he could not start his own company. He could not raise capital. He could not compete with white-owned corporations. He had to work for them. And they took credit for his innovations while paying him a salary and nothing more. Edison got the glory. Edison got the billions. Latimer got a paycheck and historical erasure. Let me give you another one. Garrett Morgan, 1877 to 1963. Cleveland, Ohio. Son of former slaves, he invented two things you use constantly without knowing his name. First, the gas mask, 1914. He called it a safety hood. It was a breathing device with filters that protected you from smoke and toxic gases. In 1916, there was a massive explosion in a tunnel under Lake Erie in Cleveland. Workers were trapped underground. The tunnel was filled with smoke and poisonous gas. Rescue workers who went in without protection died immediately. The city was desperate. Garrett Morgan put on his gas mask invention and went down into that tunnel. He saved 32 men. He risked his life multiple times going back into toxic smoke to pull out survivors. He was a hero. Orders for his gas mask flooded in from fire departments and factories across America. But then something happened. White customers started canceling their orders when they found out the inventor was black. Fire chiefs who had been eager to buy the safety hood suddenly said they did not need it anymore. Factory owners who were ready to place bulk orders backed out. Garrett Morgan had to hire a white actor to pretend to be the inventor. He had to stand in the background at demonstrations while a white man took credit just so he could sell his own invention. World War I breaks out. Soldiers are dying from poison gas in the trenches. The U.S. military adapts Morgan's gas mask design for troops. His invention saves tens of thousands of American soldiers' lives. Does he get credit? Does the military pay him royalties? No. They use his design. They save their soldiers with his invention. And they never mention his name. After the war, he is not honored as the man whose invention saved American troops. He is just another Negro they can ignore. His second invention was the traffic signal. The three-position traffic light, red, yellow, green. Before Morgan, traffic signals were only red and green, and they changed instantly. This caused constant accidents because drivers had no warning before the light changed. Morgan invented the yellow caution light. He invented the system where all lights briefly go red in all directions before changing, preventing cars from crashing in intersections. He patented this in 1923. It was brilliant, simple, life-saving, and he sold the patent to General Electric for $40,000. GE made billions. Every traffic light in the world uses Morgan's design. Every intersection, every city, every country. How much did Morgan's family get in ongoing royalties? Zero. He sold the patent because he needed money and could not manufacture traffic lights himself. GE bought it, produced it globally, made unfathomable profits. And Morgan's name disappeared from the story. He saved lives with the gas mask. He organized traffic and prevented accidents with the signal. And America's response was to erase him and steal his profits. One more, Jan Ernst Matzeliger, 1852 to 1889. He was born in Dutch Guiana in South America and immigrated to Massachusetts. He worked in a shoe factory. At that time, shoes were made almost entirely by hand. The process of attaching the upper part of the shoe to the sole, called lasting, required a skilled craftsman working slowly and carefully. A good shoe laster could make maybe 50 pairs of shoes per day. This made shoes expensive. Most poor people could not afford good shoes. Matzeliger watched this process and saw inefficiency. He spent years designing a machine that could do the lasting automatically. In 1883, he succeeded. His shoe lasting machine could produce 700 pairs of shoes per day, 700 versus 50. He increased productivity by over 1,000%. His invention cut the price of shoes in half practically overnight. For the first time in history, working-class people could afford quality shoes. This invention revolutionized the entire footwear industry globally. But Matzeliger was black. White investors refused to fund him. He had to sell his patent to the United Shoe Machinery Company for a tiny amount of money plus some stock shares. United Shoe Machinery Company became a monopoly worth billions. They controlled shoe manufacturing across America and Europe. And Matzeliger. He died in 1889 at age 37. He died of tuberculosis. He was too poor to afford proper medical care. The man who made billions of dollars in profits possible for white businessmen died broke and sick at 37 years old. He made white men billionaires and died in poverty. His descendants got nothing. The company that bought his patent for almost nothing became one of the most valuable corporations in America. Last one in this pattern section, Elijah McCoy, 1844 to 1929. His parents were escaped slaves who fled to Canada. Elijah was born free in Canada. His parents saved money to send him to Scotland to study mechanical engineering. He was educated, brilliant, creative. He invented an automatic lubricator for steam engines. Before McCoy, trains and factory machines had to be stopped regularly so workers could manually oil the moving parts. This was time-consuming and inefficient. McCoy invented a system that automatically dripped oil onto the parts while the machine was running. No more stopping, no more downtime. Factories and railroads could run continuously. He patented this and dozens of improvements. He eventually held 57 patents related to lubrication systems. His inventions were so superior that buyers started asking for the real McCoy. That phrase, the real McCoy, meaning the genuine article, the best quality, comes from Elijah McCoy's name. His reputation for quality was that strong. But white manufacturers copied his designs constantly. They made imitation McCoy lubricators and sold them under different names. They flooded the market with knockoffs. McCoy could not afford the lawyers to fight all the patent infringement. He spent what money he had on legal battles, but there were too many thieves. And buyers wanted the real McCoy, but many settled for cheaper imitations they did not know were stolen designs. White companies made fortunes selling products based on McCoy's inventions. McCoy died in 1929 with very little money. His name became a phrase in the English language, the real McCoy. But he died without the wealth his genius should have created. They stole his designs. His name became synonymous with quality, and he died broke. Do you see it now? Do you see the pattern? Every single time a black inventor created something revolutionary, the same thing happened. White businessmen stole it. White media erased the inventor's name. White history books credited white men or credited nobody. Black inventors died poor while white men became millionaires and billionaires. This was not bad luck. This was not a few isolated cases. This was how the system worked. This was policy. Historians estimate there were over 1,200 documented black inventors between 1800 and 1950 who received patents. Over 1,200. And these are just the ones who managed to get patents despite all the barriers. How many more black inventors never got patents because they could not afford the fees? How many had their workshops burned down before they could finish? How many were threatened into silence? We will never know. But we know about these 1,200, and we can calculate the theft. Conservative estimates put the economic value created by these black inventors at multiple trillions of dollars in today's money. Trillions. The wealth transferred to their families, almost zero. The wealth transferred to white corporations and white families, trillions. This was not accident. This was not just business. This was systematic theft. This was intellectual genocide. They did not just steal money. They stole credit. They stole recognition. They stole history. They stole the pride that should have been passed down through generations. They stole your knowledge of your own ancestors' genius. Every time black people built genius, they stole it. Every time black people created wealth, they seized it. Every time. This was not capitalism. This was racial plunder. This was organized crime on a national scale. And it explains everything about why you are where you are today. Hold that thought, because what I am about to show you next will prove this was not just individual theft. This was government policy. This was systematic suppression enforced by laws, by courts, by violence, by erasure. And it is still happening now. The theft of black inventors' work did not happen by accident. It happened because of deliberate systems of suppression, physical destruction, legal suppression, educational erasure, media manipulation. Let me break down exactly how they did it, how they made sure black genius could be stolen and black inventors could be erased. Once you see these mechanisms, you will understand why the theft continues today. Physical destruction first. The U.S. Patent Office had a fire in 1836. Convenient timing. Many records were destroyed, including a disproportionate number of patents filed by black inventors. And coincidentally, those records were never reconstructed the way white inventors' records were. White inventors whose patents burned had their documentation preserved through other means. Black inventors. Their work just disappeared from the official record. But it was not just the Patent Office. Black inventors' workshops were targeted. Let me give you an example. Lewis Temple, in the 1800s, invented a revolutionary whale harpoon. It had a toggle mechanism that prevented whales from escaping once struck. This invention transformed the whaling industry, made it far more profitable. Temple was on the verge of becoming wealthy. Then his workshop mysteriously burned down. Everything destroyed. Blueprints, prototypes, tools, all gone. And the insurance company refused to pay his claim. Insurance companies routinely refused to cover black business owners, so Temple lost everything. White competitors immediately started producing harpoons based on his design. He died in poverty. This happened over and over. Granville Woods, the Black Edison I told you about earlier, had his laboratory broken into 3 times. Each time his blueprints and plans were stolen. And within months, white competitors would file patents for suspiciously similar inventions. Woods would have to fight in court to prove he was the original inventor. He won those fights, but they cost him thousands of dollars in legal fees. Meanwhile, the thieves got to market first and made the profits. The police never investigated these break-ins seriously. Just another Negro complaint. Not worth their time. But physical destruction was not enough. They also used the legal system. Before the Civil War, the law was explicit. Enslaved people could not hold patents. If an enslaved person invented something, the slave owner legally owned that invention. After the Civil War, this changed on paper. Technically, black people could now get patents. But the reality was different. Patent attorneys refused to represent black inventors. The application process required expensive legal help. Most black people could not afford the fees. A patent application cost $35 in the 1800s. That is equivalent to over $1,000 today. For black families just out of slavery, barely surviving, that was impossible. And even if they scraped together the money, the patent examiners were all white. These examiners rejected black applications at much higher rates, often for vague reasons. They dragged out the process to increase costs. Many black inventors gave up. Some black inventors found a workaround. They put a white friend's name on the patent application. The white friend would officially be the inventor. Then privately, they would split the profits. But this created its own problems. What if the white friend betrayed them? What if he decided to keep all the profits? The black inventor had no legal recourse. And this is exactly what happened in many cases. The white friend would get the patent, then refuse to share. And the black inventor could not sue because he had no proof he was the real inventor. Patent infringement lawsuits were even worse. When white companies stole black inventors' designs, the black inventor could try to sue. But think about the courtroom. All white jury, white judge, white lawyers for the corporation, and a black plaintiff trying to prove a white businessman stole from him. The black inventor almost always lost. The phrase "a Negro's word against a white man's word" meant the white man won automatically. Evidence did not matter. Documentation did not matter. The race of the plaintiff was all that mattered. Granville Woods spent 20 years in patent litigation. He spent nearly all his money fighting to protect his inventions. He won some cases, but the legal fees consumed everything. Meanwhile, the companies stealing from him had unlimited legal budgets. They could drag out cases for years until Woods ran out of money. This was the strategy. Bleed him dry through the legal system. And it worked. There were also discriminatory laws that people do not talk about. The separate but equal doctrine from Plessy versus Ferguson in 1896 was not just about water fountains and schools. It was economic exclusion. Black inventors were banned from professional engineering societies. They could not present their work at conferences. They could not publish in scientific journals. This meant they had no credibility in the eyes of investors. No investors meant no capital to develop and market inventions. No capital meant being forced to sell patents cheap just to survive. Contract law was rigged too. Black people could not effectively sue white companies for breach of contract. Courts routinely ruled that contracts with black people were unenforceable or could be ignored for any reason. White companies would sign agreements with black inventors, get the technical details, then refuse to pay. And the black inventor had no legal remedy. This was legal theft. The theft was written into law. Banking regulations made it impossible for black inventors to get business loans. Redlining was not just about housing. Banks used redlining for business lending too. If you were black, you were automatically high risk, loan denied. This meant black inventors could not raise capital to manufacture their own inventions. They could not compete with white-owned corporations. Their only option was to sell patents to those same corporations for whatever price they could get. And the corporations knew this. They lowballed black inventors systematically because they knew there were no other options. But legal suppression alone was not enough. They also erased black inventors from education. This might be the most insidious part. From the 1880s all the way to the 1980s, that is 100 years, American history textbooks mentioned exactly 0 black inventors. Not one. Science textbooks, 0. Engineering textbooks, 0. Students learning about Thomas Edison in great detail. Multiple chapters about the Wizard of Menlo Park. Alexander Graham Bell got entire sections about inventing the telephone. The Wright brothers, Henry Ford, Eli Whitney, Samuel Morse. Page after page about white inventors. But Lewis Latimer, who made Edison's light bulb, actually work 1 sentence if he was lucky. Usually 0. Norbert Rillieux, who revolutionized industrial chemistry, not mentioned. Garrett Morgan, who invented the traffic light, not in the textbook. Granville Woods, who made railroads safe, erased. If you are not in the textbook, you do not exist. 3 generations of American children, both black and white, grew up never knowing that black people invented critical technologies. Black children were never taught that people who looked like them were brilliant inventors. They were taught that innovation was white, that genius was white, that all the important inventions came from white men. This is psychological warfare. This is cultural genocide, and they change the attribution of inventions. Rillieux's multiple effect evaporator was credited to the Louisiana sugar industry's innovation. Just a collective achievement, no name attached. Latimer's carbon filament became one of Edison's laboratory achievements. Team effort. Morgan's gas mask became American ingenuity during World War I. Matzeliger's shoe-lasting machine was attributed to the shoe industry's modernization. They took the specific black face off the invention and made it a white collective achievement. Segregated schools made this worse. Black schools were severely underfunded. They got old, outdated textbooks. Even when black schools tried to teach about black inventors, those lessons did not matter to white society. Degrees from black colleges were not recognized. Black engineers could not get licensed in many states. There were states where it was literally illegal for a black person to call themselves an engineer, even if they had the education and skills. The system locked black people out of engineering programs until the 1960s. MIT did not graduate a black engineering student until the 1960s. Stanford, same. The Ivy League, same story. They locked us out of the institutions, then said we were not smart enough. They denied us education, then called us ignorant. They stole our inventions, then said we never invented anything. It was a perfect closed loop of oppression and erasure. Museums and archives participated too. The Smithsonian had virtually nothing about black inventors until the 1990s. The Patent Office Museum, no black inventors on display. Engineering halls of fame waited decades after black inventors died to give token recognition. By then, the families could not claim anything. By then, it cost the institutions nothing to say, "Oh yes, we recognize his contributions now that he is safely dead and cannot demand what he is owed." Our genius was in the basement archives, not in the exhibits, not in the textbooks, not in the documentaries. Hidden, erased, forgotten, until now. Media manipulation completed the erasure. Newspapers in the 1800s and early 1900s covered white inventors constantly. Front page news, celebration, national pride. Thomas Edison announces a new patent front page. Alexander Graham Bell makes an improvement feature story. Henry Ford opens a new factory, multiple articles. But when Norbert Rillieux's revolutionary evaporator transformed the sugar industry, buried in the back pages of Louisiana papers, if mentioned at all. Most papers ignored it completely. When Granville Woods won patent disputes against Thomas Edison, proving he was the true inventor, that should have been front-page news. A black man defeats Edison in court twice. But it was barely mentioned. A small paragraph on page 12, maybe. When black inventors were mentioned, and this is important, the tone was always condescending, surprising, unexpected, unusual for his race. Those were the words they used. The implication was clear. Black intelligence is an anomaly. Black genius is shocking because black people are not supposed to be smart. They never used the words they used for white inventors. Brilliant, visionary, revolutionary, genius. Those words were reserved exclusively for white men. Black inventors got surprising and unusual. That is not celebration. That is racist shock. Newspapers also created false narratives. They credited white teams or laboratories instead of individual black inventors. When Garrett Morgan's gas mask saved those men in the Cleveland tunnel explosion, newspapers called him a Cleveland inventor. They avoided mentioning his race. When they were forced to acknowledge a black person was involved, they downplayed the contribution. Assisted in development, helped with the project, never invented, never created, always diminished. Commercial advertising erased black inventors completely. Products based on black inventions always showed white men in the advertisements. Shoes made using Matzeliger's machine, ads showed white shoemakers. Light bulbs using Latimer's filament ads showed Thomas Edison. Traffic lights using Morgan's design ads showed white traffic cops and white engineers. Zero black representation. If you only saw the advertising, you would think white men invented everything. And that was exactly the point. Scientific journals refused to publish papers written by black scientists and inventors. Editorial boards were all white. Peer review meant white peers rejecting black genius because they could not accept that a black mind could produce that level of work. Black inventors could not build scientific reputations, could not get citations, could not establish credibility in the academic world. This made it impossible to attract investors or gain recognition from institutions that mattered. You cannot prove you are a serious inventor if no journal will publish your research. You cannot get respect from other engineers if you cannot present at conferences. The system locked black inventors out of every avenue to success. And this media erasure continues today, right now in 2026. Think about documentaries on American innovation. Think about TV shows about the history of technology. Who do they focus on? White inventors. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. The narrative is always the same. American innovation is white innovation. Black people are never in those stories, except as maybe workers or consumers. When was the last time you saw a mainstream documentary about Lewis Latimer, about Granville Woods, about Norbert Rillieux? You have not, because the erasure continues. They change the method, but the goal is the same. Keep black genius invisible. Now let me connect this to today. Let me show you why this matters right now in 2026. Why this is not just history. Why this explains everything about your life and your family struggle. The wealth gap. You hear about it constantly. Median white household wealth is $188,200. Median black household wealth is $24,100. White families have 8 times more wealth than black families. And what do they tell you? They say black people do not work hard enough. They say black people do not make good financial decisions. They say black people do not value education. All lies. Racist lies designed to blame you for poverty they created. Let me show you the real math. Just Norbert Rillieux alone. His multiple effect evaporator has been used globally since 1843. That is 183 years. The sugar industry alone generates $80 billion per year globally. Rillieux's technology is essential to approximately 80% of modern sugar production. Conservative estimate his innovation contributes about 2% of annual global sugar industry value. That is $1.6 billion per year. Multiply that by 183 years. That is $292 billion in value created by one black man's invention. How much did Rillieux and his descendants receive? Maybe $50,000 total during his lifetime. His descendants, zero. Not 1 penny in ongoing royalties. If Rillieux had received just a 1% royalty on the technology he invented, his family would have nearly $3 billion today. $3 billion. But they have nothing. Where did that $3 billion go? To white families, to white corporations, to white generational wealth. This is not ancient history affecting nobody. This is active theft transferred through generations. The white families who owned those sugar plantations in 1843, their descendants are millionaires and billionaires today. Rillieux's descendants starting from zero like he never existed. Now multiply this across all 1,200 documented black inventors from 1800 to 1950. Even if only 100 of them had major innovations and we use a conservative estimate of $10 billion per inventor in total value created, that is $1 trillion. $1 trillion of stolen black intellectual property wealth. And that is conservative. The real number is likely 5 to 10 trillion when you calculate compound interest and ongoing royalties over multiple generations. This is why your family struggles. Not because your great-great-grandfather was lazy, not because your ancestors did not work hard, but because when your great-great-grandfather invented something revolutionary, white men stole it. When your ancestor created wealth, they seized it. When your family built something, they destroyed it. The poverty you see in black communities is not failure. It is proof of theft. It is evidence of robbery. Let me show you how this connects to now. The innovation gap myth. You hear it all the time. Why do not black people innovate? Why are there no black tech billionaires? Why is Silicon Valley so white and Asian? The assumption behind these questions is that black people are not innovative, not creative, not smart enough. But you know the truth now. Black people have always innovated. Black people have always created revolutionary technology. White people have always stolen it and erased our names. The pattern continues today. Current data from 2020 to 2024 shows black inventors have a patent approval rate of 67%, white inventors 82%. Same quality applications, different outcomes based solely on race. Black inventors wait an average of 3.4 years for patent approval. White inventors wait 2.1 years. The system is still rigged. They slow down black inventors. They reject black applications at higher rates. They make it harder every step of the way. Venture capital is even worse. In 2023, black founders received 1.2% of all venture capital funding. White founders received 77%. Even when black founders have better metrics, better products, better teams, they cannot get funding. Investors who are overwhelmingly white say they do not see it as viable. That is coded racism. They do not say we do not invest in black people. They say the business is not viable. But the business is viable when a white person has the same idea 6 months later and gets $10 million in seed funding. Black founders are forced to bootstrap, to self-fund, to struggle for every dollar, while white founders with worse ideas get millions handed to them based on potential. This forces black entrepreneurs to stay small, to grow slowly, and while they are growing slowly, white competitors with massive funding overtake them, outspend them, crush them. Then the white company gets bought by Google or Facebook for hundreds of millions. And people say, see, white people are just better at business. No. White people have access to stolen capital, capital that should have gone to black families generations ago. Tech industry theft happens constantly. You see it with content creators. A black creator on TikTok or Instagram invents a new format, a new style, a new trend. It goes viral in the black community. Then white creators copy it. And the white creators get the brand deals. The white creators get millions of followers. The white creators get rich. The black innovator who created it gets nothing. Maybe gets credit in a footnote if they are lucky. Usually gets nothing. This is the modern version of what they did to Rillieux and Latimer and Morgan. The technology changed. The theft is the same. Algorithm suppression replaced physical destruction. Terms of service violations replaced legal suppression. Media blackouts replaced educational erasure. But the goal is identical. Steal black innovation. Erase black creators. Transfer wealth to white people. Banking discrimination continues. Black entrepreneurs are denied business loans at twice the rate of white entrepreneurs with identical financial profiles. Identical, same credit score, same business plan, same collateral, different race, different outcome. This is not coincidence. This is policy. Banks still use the same redlining principles they used in 1950. They just do not call it redlining anymore. They call it risk assessment. They call it algorithmic lending decisions. But the algorithm was programmed by humans. And those humans built racism into the code. If your ancestor had been Norbert Rillieux, if your family had received what was owed, you would not be struggling now. You would be wealthy. You would have generational wealth. You would have investment capital. You would have connections. You would have access. But they stole it. And they built a system to keep stealing from every generation. This is your stolen inheritance. This is why you start from zero, while white families start from millions. Not because of your failure, because of their theft. You are not a victim. Stop letting them define you that way. You are a survivor of genocide. You are a descendant of warriors. You are an heir to stolen empires. Your ancestors were not just enslaved people. They were inventors who changed the world. They were geniuses who built revolutionary technology with no resources, no support, no capital. They did it while being terrorized. They did it while facing death. And they still succeeded in creating world-changing innovations. That strength is in your DNA. That brilliance is in your blood. That resilience is in your spirit. Your poverty is not your fault. Your poverty is proof of theft. If Rillieux's family had kept their wealth, they would be billionaires. If Latimer's family had gotten royalties, they would be billionaires. If Woods had not been forced to sell his patents cheap, he would have built a billion-dollar company. If Morgan had received ongoing royalties from every traffic light and gas mask sold, his family would own half of America. Your family should be billionaires. The only reason you are not white theft, remember that. They robbed you. They did not outwork you. They robbed you. That genius runs through black families today. Norbert Rillieux's brilliance is alive in black engineers working right now. Lewis Latimer's innovation lives in black inventors creating in garages and basements right now. Garrett Morgan's courage lives in black entrepreneurs fighting against a rigged system right now. You are not starting from zero. You are starting from robbed billionaire status. Act like it. Walk like it. Think like it. Demand like it. For 200 years, they told you that you are inferior. For 200 years, they hid proof of your genius. They hid Rillieux. They hid Latimer. They hid Woods and Morgan and Matzeliger and McCoy. They hid them so you would not know. So you would believe the lie that black people do not innovate. But now you know. Now you have seen the receipts. Now you know your ancestors were world changers. You know you descend from revolutionary minds. So walk with your head high. You come from genius. You come from innovation. You come from people who changed human history while being oppressed. Never forget that.